Hey guys, good morning. This is Pastor Joe, and this is Cup of Joe with Joe. You know, my wife and I were sitting around the breakfast table this morning drinking coffee, and we started talking just about spiritual things, and we just got off onto this topic of how faithful God has always been to us in every way. And we were talking, and I made the statement, I said, why do we ever even bother to worry? What does worry accomplish anyway? It doesn't do anything but stress us out and have ill effects on our body, our soul, our spirit, all that sort of stuff, on our emotions. Why do we ever even bother to worry when we look back over the course of our lives and we see all the times that God has been so faithful to step in and do everything that he said he's going to do? And I don't just mean financial, but I do mean financial things, but I mean just in life in general. Last year, I was unemployed for a period of about 4 months, and we closed on a house, and I got laid off before we made the first payment on the house. And so how we went 4 months with me not having a job, and we weren't even late with a bill. I have no idea how we managed to do that. I really don't, because on paper that should have never worked, but somehow God just made a way. That's why we sing the song Waymaker, Miracle Worker, because he is. He makes a way where it seems like there's not a way. And she was talking about how in COVID, she's a piano teacher. She said when COVID came about, she said, I was teaching a tiny handful of students 2 days a week with 2 kids still living at home. And she said, and somehow or another, I just always was able to pay all my bills and buy groceries and stuff. And the thing is, God doesn't always work out on paper. So stop trying to make him do that. We had a conversation last night about David counting his men and how that was the most offensive thing he did before God, because he was being self-reliant. Listen, guys, stop striving so hard and just rest in the fact that God loves you and God will provide for you, and that God is always 100% faithful to do everything that he says he will do. I always like to say he is who he says he is, and he will do what he says he will do. He's faithful always. I'm Pastor Joe. It's Cup of Joe with Joe. You guys be blessed.